Let us see this example. Let V be R plus the set of all positive real numbers. So certainly 0 does not belong to this set. But define addition as x plus y equal to xy. The right side is usual multiplication. So that means if we add 2 to 3, 2 plus 3, it will give us 2 into 3 and that is equal to 6. If we take 4 plus 3, then it will give us 4 into 3 equal to 12, and so on. The addition is defined in this set. And scalar multiplication is defined as k dot x, where x is an element in V, is equal to x power k. Say for example 5 scalar into 7 vector, then 5 dot 7 will be equal to 7 power 5, not 35. Note it that it is 7 power 5. So with these two operations you can prove that V is a vector space where 1 will act as the 0 element or the additive identity. Previous slide. So you can check how 1 acts as the 0 element or the additive identity. If you add any element x to 1, what we will get? X plus 1 equal to x into 1, and that is equal to x. So that means this 1 acts as the additive identity. What will be additive inverse for x? So that means x plus which element will give us the additive identity? So x plus x inverse, x plus x inverse can give us 1. That means x plus x inverse equal to x into x inverse equal to 1. X inverse means 1 by x. You can see that if x is a positive real number, then 1 by x is also a positive real number. Therefore that 1 by x belongs to R plus. And similarly other properties you can verify. Next slide. So that means you can prove that V is a vector space, and here 1 acts as the 0 element or the additive identity. Here we come across an important theorem in vector space, which is even though simple but must be noted completely, that let V be a vector space and U an element in V and K a scalar, then 0 into U, 0 is the scalar, U is the vector, 0 into U gives us 0 vector, that is the additive identity, and K into 0 vector, K scalar 0 vector gives us 0 vector. Next is minus 1 into U equal to minus of U. So the right side minus U is the additive inverse of U, and in the left side we are multiplying a scalar minus 1 to a vector U. Then if K into U equal to 0, then either K is 0 or vector U is the 0 vector. Otherwise it is means there is no other possibility in which K into U can be 0. Next theorem is that the additive identity or the 0 element in a vector space must be unique. That is, there is one and only one 0 element in V. It cannot be that there are 2 0 elements or 3 0 elements or none. That is not a possibility. If V is a vector space, then it has one and only one 0 element in V. Similarly, the additive inverse for each element in a vector space is unique, and this must be remembered. And it has a next slide, then we come across the important concept, that is subspace. A subset W of a vector space V is called a subspace of V if W is itself a vector space under the same operations addition and scalar multiplication as defined on V. So, what is a subspace? First, V is a vector space and inside it any subset we have considered, it must be non-empty and it must be a vector space in its own right under the same operations of addition and scalar multiplication on V. So, when we will say that W is a vector space, should we consider all 10 means verify all 10 conditions? No, it is not necessary to verify all 10 conditions. Rather, we can restrict to just simple 3 conditions and we can be sure that W is a subspace. So, let V be a vector space and W is a subset of V if and all, and it will be called a subspace. It will be a subspace if and only if the following 3 conditions hold. Namely, the 0 vector of V should be in W, and if A and V are 2 vectors in W, U and V are 2 vectors in W, then their sum also should be in W, that is U plus V also should be in W. That means vector addition must be closed, and similarly the scalar multiplication also should be closed. So, for K scalar and UW we must get KU is inside W. If these 3 conditions are checked, then W will automatically become a subspace. Let us see. So, that means the above theorem says that W should be non-empty, that means 0, at least one element should be in W. It must be closed under addition and scalar multiplication. If these 3 things are there, then W is termed as a subspace. Let us come to the next example of a subspace. The vector space Pnx we have already discussed, and actually it is a subset of the set of all functions f, which is a vector space, and it can be verified that this Pnx is a subspace of the vector space of all functions f under point-wise addition and scalar multiplication. Clearly, the 0 polynomial or is the 0 element which is in Pnx. If PQ belong to Pnx, then P plus Q belong to Pnx. For K scalar and P in Pnx, we have Kp in Pnx, and therefore it is a subspace. 0 element is there, sum is there, and scalar multiplication is there. Let R3 be the vector space with operations standard addition and scalar multiplication. Let W be inside R3 be any plane through the origin and UV be any vectors. So, remember what is W? It is a plane through origin, and UV are any vectors in W, then their sum is certainly in W. The origin is in W because W passes through origin, and this will be the 0 element. U plus V must lie in W since it is the diagonal of the parallelogram determined by U and V. And if you multiply any scalar to a vector in W, you will get Ku, which also lies in U, because by multiplying k we are not changing the direction, and therefore it will lie inside the plane W, and it passes through origin because U passes through origin. So W is a subspace of R3. Let us see that which is not a subspace. Now consider R3, which is a vector space, and take any plane which is not passing through origin. Then you can very easily check that this is not a subspace. Why? Because origin, the 0 element, is not in this set, therefore it cannot be a subspace. In fact, any condition which it violates, then it cannot be a subspace. One important remark on subspace, that every non-zero vector space V has at least two subspaces, namely V itself, because it is a subset of V, and therefore it is a vector space, and therefore it is a subspace, and the set 0 consisting of just the 0 vector in V is a subspace called the 0 subspace, and these two are certainly there. There can be other subspaces as well inside V, and let us see that with the particular example, the subspaces of R2 and R3. So what are the subspaces of R2? 0 itself, R2, and any line which is passing through origin is a subspace of R2. So the subspaces of R3 are 0, lines through the origin, and planes through origin, and R3. And note that they are the only subspaces of R2 and R3. There is no other subspace. Then the subspace of MNN, that is all matrix of order n by n. As we know, the sum of two symmetric matrices is symmetric, so sum is closed, and a scalar multiple of a symmetric matrix remains a symmetric matrix. The 0 matrix is symmetric, and therefore the set of all symmetric matrices is a vector space in its own right, and it is a subspace of MNN. Next slide. Then the other subspaces of MNN, the set of n cross n upper triangular matrices, the set of n cross n lower triangular matrices, the set of n cross n diagonal matrices, all these are examples of subspaces of MNN. But it is not the all subspaces of MNN, there are other subspaces. Now let us come to an important concept which will lead to further investigation in vector space. We have seen this linear combination in our first slide. The linear combination. So what is a linear combination? A vector W is a linear combination of the vectors v1, v2, vr if it can be expressed in the form as W equal to k1 into v1 plus k2 into v2 plus ... kr vr, where this k1, k2, kr are scalars. Then this is called a linear combination of the vectors v1, v2, vr, and it gives rise to a vector W. Theorem 5. If v1, v2, vr are vectors in a vector space, then the set W of all linear combinations of v1, v2, vr is a subspace of W. So if you take all the linear combination and make those elements into one set, that will be a subspace of W, sorry, subspace of V. Not only that, this subspace W is the smallest subspace of V, which contain V1, V2, Vr, in the sense that every other subspace we consider which contains V1, V2, Vr, that must contain W, and in this sense W is the smallest subspace. Now this leads to a new concept called span, linear combination and span. If S is a set of vectors V1, V2, Vr in a vector space V, then the subspace W of V containing all linear combinations of these vectors in S is called the space spanned by V1, V2, Vr, and we say that the vectors span W, and we use notation for this as span S, and that is equal to W. So there are two notations, either we note down the vectors which is spanning or the set. So these two notations are utilized for span of. Let us take an example to understand this span concept. Let V1 and V2 be two non-collinear vectors in R3 with their initial points at the origin. Span V1, V2, which consists of all linear combinations K1 V1 plus K2 V2, is the plane determined by V1 and V2, and so this span is the plane determined by V1, V2. Similarly, if V is any non-zero vector in R2 or R3, then span V, which is the set of all scalar multiples Kv, is the line determined by V. So this is the geometric explanation, or the we can see the geometry behind a vector space. Next example is spanning set for Pnx, means Pnx is a vector space, it contains vectors, but are there any vectors whose linear combination when we take we get Pnx? Yes, the polynomials, namely 1, x, x square, xn. If we take these vectors and take all linear combinations of this, that is span of this, then you can check that we get the vector space Pnx. This is very simple because any polynomial in Pnx looks like a0 plus a1x up to anxn, and that is nothing but a linear combination of these vectors, and therefore this is span of this 1x, x square, xn, and we get Pnx. Let us see another example. Determine whether the three vectors v1, v2 and v3 span the vector space R3. That means if we are given any vector a, b, c, a comma b comma c as a vector in R3, is it possible that a linear combination of v1, v2, v3 can give us a, b, c? And the answer is yes. Two different set of vectors may span the same vector space, So if S and S dash are two set of vectors, one contains k elements, the